Hey guys, welcome back to my page. In today's edition, I'm going to continue creating this full stack to do application using Strapi and React JS. So on this side, I'm going to explain what a Strapi is, and we set up our project for a Strapi, create a collection type, adding data, and checking if our API is actually working. So as I said earlier, Strapi is a headless CMS. It's just like a more advanced way of designing your API without even need to write any code. So this is the Strapi page, the official page. So you can just check it out and see, read the documentation. But I'm going to make things simple for the sake of beginners that will be joining this tutorial. So all I need, I already have an empty folder here. So I'm going to try to create a new Strapi project. So normally this is going to create the Strapi project for you, because if you check the official page, this is what it looks like. So but for our own sake here, we need to provide the name of your project. So I'm going to do let me say to do backend. Then I'm going to set it to be a quick start. So then I'm going to run this and wait for some couple of minutes for it to install. So this might take a little time. So I'm going to come back once it has fully installed. This is going to ask you on the way if you are okay to proceed creating a Strapi lab, which is 5.1.0. So I'm going to tell why. So now I have this to this stage. So then I'm going to I have please log in or sign up. So I'm going to skip it. So welcome back. Most time when you are done installing and you see something like this, maybe error, it means your dependency are not fully installed. So, and the best way to do it is just navigate to that project you just created and run your npm install. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change directory to the project we just created. So I'm going to see the to do backend. Then from there, I'm going to run code dot to open this project in my VS Code. So in a couple of minutes like that, it's going to launch my VS Code. And I'm going to have my code running inside it. So I'm going to bring my VS Code to this side. Now, once you have this, you are not touching anything, you are not editing anything. Now, when you are using a quick start, the quick start in the command I run this, it means you are using the default database from Strapi, which is SQLite. Now, the SQLite, you don't need to change anything like I said earlier. The only thing you need is, let me make this bigger. Yeah. So the only thing you need from this part is to just check your package.json and see what you use to run your project. So what we'll be using for now is this develop, that is npm run develop. So which I'm going to do right here. So once you have your project successfully run like this, now as you can see, the other time I was checking for where the database is. So that is because I haven't run the project. So till when you run it for the first time, that is when your database will be created. Now if you check from your env file here, you can see the database name is inside the tmp then slash data.db, as you can see on this side. So once you run your project from here, then we are done with everything in this VS Code. We no longer need this again. So I'm going to open my Strapi that is already loading the project I'm running right now. So I'm going to wait for it to fully load. So once I have the project launched successfully, if you're running this for the first time, it's going to bring you to this page that is just to enter some couple of data for you to be able to log in next time you are coming in as the admin. So I'm going to do so make sure the email you use is correct. I haven't tried to use fake or wrong email, so I don't know what will happen if you use wrong email, but I advise you use a correct one and you enter your password, then you click on let's start. So once you have your project set up, then you can see welcome on board. So before now, there used to be a slider, or let me say a sidebar, that will indicate what we have inside each of these things. So the first thing I'm going to go to, let me check the content manager. Now, as you can see under the content manager, the collection type I have here is user. So by default, Strapi gives us one content type, the user. Now, if you click on create entry, you will see the all the things you can enter here: the username, the email, the password, confirm, the blocked, and the row. But we are not using this content type, so which means we need to create our own content type. So you need to come to this content type builder here, and as you can see over here, we have the user. So you can create a new one by clicking on create a new content type. So but on this side here, you can see we have collection type, we have single type, and we have component. So this single is just like maybe you have a single settings that is applicable to all your applications. Just a single that cannot change. It can be 2, it can be 3. That is when you use a single type. Then maybe there is this component, maybe you have a data that you repeat across different pages. So that kind of data can actually serve as a component one, but the one we want is the collection type. So I'm going to click on create. So the display, remember what we are creating a to-do. Anything you are doing, just make it a singular. So don't try to put S, because by default, once you put S, your API ID is already adding, pluralizing anything you enter. So if you enter maybe staff So I don't think staff deserve to have staff is staff. Let me say client. You can see there is clients. So, but what we want is to do. Just make it like that. So if we check the advanced, there is nothing we need for the advanced here. So just click on continue. So once you click on continue, now this part is going to ask you what are the fields that you need in your collection type. So the fields we need a text. That is the first one, and this text is going to be the title. It's going to be short. We don't want it to be a long text. Then if you come over to these advanced settings over here, you can set a default value. You can set a default value. Then you can make it required. You can make it unique if you don't want the title to be replicated. Then the maximum length, the minimum length, then the private, but we don't need all this. The only thing I need on this side is just try to make the field required. So I'm supposed to click on finish, but I'm going to add another one. As you can see, once I click on another one, it's already adding the title on this side, if you can see it. So another thing I need description. But this time around, I'm not going to make it a short. I'm going to make it a long text. Come to the advanced, make it required as well. Then I'm going to add a new type again. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of things here. We have the text, the boolean, the rich text, the JSON, the number, the email, the date, the password, the media, enumeration, relationship, then unique identifier and rich text. So all these, they have each role they play while making use of them. So the next thing I'm going to use is I need completed. That is the state for my to-do to be completed or not. So this part, I'm going to the advanced. If you want to make it require, you can make it require. But on this side, I want a default value. That is, once I create my to-do, the default state is going to be false. So if you want, you can make it require, but I don't think it's necessary. And the additional field that we want is the date and time. Remember, like I said, I didn't add the date and time to the preview I showed in my previous tutorial then. But just for the sake of, maybe you want to add a time schedule to it, or maybe you get notified at a certain time, or once it is a certain time, then it's going to trigger the completed to be true or to be false, any way you want it. So it's your choice to add this last field, which is date time. Then you are going to choose the format that you want. So I want it to be the date with the time. So if you go to the advanced settings as well, you can set the default that you want it to be. You can make it require private field or unique field. Then I'm going to click on finish. Now, as I can see, I have four fields. I have the title, I have the description, the completed, and I have the date, time. So once you're done setting your collection type, then you hit on save from here. So once you hit on save, it's going to wait, then it's going to restart your application. So this thing is going to stop and rebuild. So that is what is going on here. So once it's done restarting, then I can come back to my content manager here. Now, if you look closely now, instead of, we only had user the other time, but now we have to do here now. So under your content manager, that is where you upload your content. If you click on create a new entry here or here, any of these two buttons will work. So I'm clicking on this part. It's going to load and it's going to give you this. So I'm going to add the title. Let me say posts on TikTok. Then I'm going to add a description. I will post this video on TikTok every day. So let me just make it like that. Since I didn't make these two parts required, and remember, even if this part is make required, we already set the default value to be false, if you remember, but we didn't set anything for this and it is not required. So you can save first. If you save it, it will just save it, but it won't be visible. But you can just publish everything directly. That is, it's going to save it and it's going to publish it at the same time. As you can see over here, published. So I can go back to my to-do now, and I'm going to have that one here. So let me create one more. Let me say and on this side, let me say, I know this doesn't look like a to-do, but I'm just a sample. So instead of making it false this time around, I'm going to change it to true. Then I'm going to publish it. So same to same. Once I check that, I have two things now. Now we are almost done with our backend, but we need one more thing, because if I check the only thing I need from my VS Code now is I use this Thunder client. It's just like API tester, just something like Postman. So I use this Thunder client a lot. Instead of me using an external application, I use something like this. So if I try to get this data now, if I try to get it, I'm going to get an error, because let me just show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to, under my Thunder client here, okay, I think this thing is trying to update or something. Yeah. So I'm going to click on new request. I'm going to move my terminal down so that you can see clearly. Now under this Strapi, you can see what we have as the URL, localhost 1337. So which we will try to get data from. Now, sorry, it's going to be a GET request. So then I'm going to make it HTTP. So 1337 / API / the content type. That is the content. The content type name that we did the other time. You can say to do. That was the name we gave. But you have to use the plural one of it, to do's. So if I send a request to this endpoint, I'm supposed to get an error that is forbidden. And the reason I'm getting this error is that there is a settings we need to make here. So if you come down to your settings here, then you come down straight down under the user and permission plugin, you click on row. Then we have authenticated and public. This is public. So you click here. Now you have the list of all your content all the type you've built, you will see them listed here. But the only thing we build is this to do. Then I'm going to click here. Now you can see this application is a CRUD application. That is, you'll be able to delete, you'll be able to create, you'll be able to find and update. So that is it. You'll be able to find all. This is for finding all. This is just find for a single one. This is to update, to create, and to delete. Since we want all these things, but before, let me just click on find first. Once you have it on find, then you click on save. So I'm going to check my request again. Then I'm going to resend this request. As you can see now, I'm getting my content, as you can see. So, which means I'm getting my data with status 200. So, which is okay. But we need all of it. We want to create, we want to delete, we want to find all, we want to find just one, and we want to update. So I'm going to click on save. Then we are good to go. So if you come back to our content manager here, you can as well just click here. You can edit, delete, unpublish it, discard changes, do a lot of things here on this end. But what we actually want is, we want to be able to connect our front end to this API. Then, okay, let's try something. Let's try to post a data to this thing. So let me go to my body. Let me just make it like that. So it's going to be a post. I only need the title and the description. So far, those are the things that are required. So I'm going to send, and let's say I'm getting a bad response, missing data. So yeah, what this error message is saying is missing data payload in the request body. So instead of us passing it as a naked data like this, we need to wrap it inside a data. So which is like this. And I'm going to paste that. Let me make it nice. So then I'm going to send it. Now, as you can see, I have success message that is created. And now I have all this. So I'm going to go back to my Strapi and refresh. Then as you can see, test from Thunder client. The description was meant to be a long text. So this is going to be all about for the backend. I'm supposed to do the editing, just to put and to delete, to see how it's going to look like. So you can do that and leave a comment below if you are able to do it. Do the put. You can use both the ID or the content ID that we have here. Just attach it at the back here. This ID is 8. So just like that, attaching the ID or the document type we do. So but in this tutorial, I'm going to be using the document ID, because if you check the Strapi very well, most time you have ID to be 1, the next one can be 2, no, can be 4, can be 3, can be 4, but I'm very sure But in short, most time the number is not sequential. So that's the reason why I prefer to use the document ID. So if you want to drop anyone, let's say you want to drop this one, just delete. Then you pass the ID, then you just send it. So as I can see, it's going to remove this one with test from Thunder client. So if I refresh that, that should be gone. Oops. I got to do's. Let me rerun that. I don't think this is successful. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, let me do the get and get the ID of 8. As you can see, could not be found. So let me try 7. Could not be found. So definitely this has been removed, but I don't know the reason why. And I'm still getting it. Okay, let me do this. Let me just get everything first. Then now, as you can see, I said that I don't use the ID. So I prefer using the document ID. I just wanted to try to use that if it is going to work. So let's get only the single one. As you can see, it's working. But if we try the 8, okay, we tried the other time, it's not getting 8. Let me check. As you can see. So which means we are supposed to use the the document ID instead of this ID that we have here. So same thing, if you want to delete it, you can just delete this one and it's gone. But before we decide if it is gone, let me check here first. Yeah, as I can see now, it's gone. So try the other what do they call it? Other request. That is the put. We've done the get, the post, the delete. So try the put and tell me in the comment section below if you're able to do that. Try to create more data so that by the time we are trying to connect our front end to it, we get enough data to work with. Thank you. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, like this video, and even comment your experience so far in the comment section below. If it is friendly for a beginner, let me know so that I can know how to go about it for the next tutorial. Thank you and bye.